Get 5 coffins ready.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Today we're taking a look at the mid lane in Smite in patch 11.2. I almost called it 1.12. So this is going to be for Diamond and below and ranked, because that's where I have the most experience. So let's get into it. This is for, and this right here may be in a good matchup. That means, like, in mid lane's case, that would be both a good mid, jungle, and support matchup. Like, those three important matchups in the early and mid game. So let's get into it with Agni. Agni, I would say, is like A. He does do a ton of damage, and he's really solid into like tanks as well because of the CC. He just straight up just stops tanks from diving him. It's really effective at that. But assassins who can chase him really well have an easy time on him. Basically, if Agni isn't able to get going, he's awful. He's absolutely terrible. He's just a bot. But if Agni is able to stay even or God forbid get ahead, he's actually a complete and utter menace. Like his range is so solid against like the best of the best warriors. They can't really deal with Agni right now, so that's really effective. But most of the top tier assassins can, so that's kind of where I think he falters. But Guardians as well, they struggle to dive him. I would say he's solid. He's really solid overall, and he can straight up feel unfair when he's ahead. So let's go Opwash. Maybe in a good matchup. You got to get lucky with this god. I mean, sometimes he works, though, is the thing. Sometimes Opwash just works, and there's nothing wrong you could say about that. Sometimes the guy just explodes your entire team for a million damage because you didn't see him coming. You didn't draft him around an Opwash, so now you have you don't have enough lockdown for him. You don't have enough chase, stuff like that. But there are a lot of options like Barrier, Horrific, Sunder, or even Thorns at this point, where it makes it really hard for Opwash to just not die instantly or get chased down and just like you pop his beads with 1,000 different abilities and then just chase him off into the sunset. But if he gets off the ground, not too bad. No pun intended. On her, not the best hunter mid, but he's so nasty right now. He might be S. I would definitely put him above Agni. On the whole, I think A is fair. God's just crazy right now. The protection shred early is if you try and cheese a level 2 gank with an on her, I mean, on her gives you free kills level 2. It's criminal. They gotta nerf that passive, man. Make it like scale or something. It's a little silly. And of course, on her late game, rock solid. On her CC, some of the best CC on any hunter at all. Definitely good enough to be on par with mages in terms of burst damage and CC. So, no reason not to. Anubis also need a good matchup. The lifesteal changes really screwed this poor guy. Yeah. They should change his passive in some sort of way, where it's like, actually, all the nerfs we made to lifesteal items, they don't affect Anubis anymore. That's a new Anubis passive, and he'd probably be fine. You just need to not get behind. It's just like Opwash. Don't get behind early. Easier said than done. It's really easy to die on this god. But if you get off the ground, if they underestimate you and you get a kill level 2, it can be very hard to beat Anubis if he has a team around him, especially with Geb being so decent and Khepri solid as well. They're good to pair with Anubis. It's just, it's kind of like why bother with that? Afro probably just like them, but probably the best out of these. Out of my Afro mid experience, she's been solid. The damage is really solid, but it's also just like why play her here when you can just play her in support instead. Her damage is okay. Not as much as like Opwash or Anubis, but it is more confirmable, especially with how much diving is going on. You kiss a warrior or an assassin, and you 2 on top of somebody for 800 damage. That's solid. It is solid burst. It's not bad. But on the whole, the tick damage on the 3 doesn't come out fast enough. I don't think it's quite enough damage. The kiss damage could be a little bit more as well, and sometimes for ultimate late game just doesn't matter. And you would have preferred like a huge burst AoE ultimate or something. And obviously she's not a hunter, so she can't pressure objectives and stuff. Would I put Apollo mid? Maybe. I mean, it's not too bad, but yeah. Maybe above Anubis? Well, no, I'll put Opwash below Anubis. I'll do it like that. Yeah, that's fair. Atlas mid? Atlas mid's like a C. I think it's just too easy to kill, and there's a certain other Guardian in the game right now you could just play and just go mid and wreck with him. So I would prefer that over Atlas. Although generally speaking, Atlas is fine. The ultimate especially controls team fights so effectively. But I think it is the correct decision of the jungler to farm this god. To absolutely farm him if he goes mid. And it's much harder to farm, okay, I'll just say it now, Charon. It's much harder to farm a Charon than it is to farm an Atlas, in my opinion. Way less self-peel. Baron... Yeah, he's not awful in mid. He's definitely just good with the tank build, though. But if you go mid with the mage, you got to go full damage. If you go defense as a mage in mid, your team's going to lack way too much damage. You can't do that. So, kind of rough. Kind of rough for him. Below Atlas, I would say is fair. But he does do a ton of damage. If he doesn't die early, he does way too much damage. And I would say the ultimate gives him much more versatility than these guys down here. Well, I'll put Afro there maybe. Then Chunga, I love Chunga. That's like this is one of my favorite gods in the game. But yeah, she's like down here. I'll say below Anubis is fair. Probably below Opwash because Opwash at least has a good siege, right? All Chunga can do is blink ult somebody with Staff of Mirrodin and try and one-shot them. That's all she can really do, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll put her here. I mean, she's not unplayable. If you get underestimated early, you can kill someone pretty easily in the mid lane with Conduit Gem. And if your jungler comes for a level 2 gank, pretty free. I mean, I was in Plat, and I killed a Thoth. Pretty free, level 2 with a Susano. Yeah, so she has sauce. She has sauce. It's just not tasty enough, is all. Clean and mid, I would probably put in B. It's like Loki and it's Zelda. It's like I hate putting the god up here, but I can't deny. I mean, it's pretty good. She clears waves for free, gets insane pressure around the mid camps and stuff. Can invade super easily, super safely. Yeah, just pressure all around constantly. Only issue I guess is that she's melee and doesn't have too much CC. Those are the things she lacks. So you might as well just go an ability hunter instead. Would I place CERN in mid? If I placed Apollo, I should place CERN. Well, I don't know, because Apollo can live, CERN can't live, I would say. Chalk mid? The problem is I haven't played Chalk mid. That's the only issue. Here, I'll put it like there. It's probably not even bad if he just goes like full damage Chalk. Yeah, I'll put it like back here. Something like that. I did play Camazots once, but I think I did get a little lucky. I'll put him maybe like here. Oh, that's Cabrakan. Hi, Cabrakan. I'll put him like here. He can clear very effectively. He has a... I mean, if you're a mage, you can't fight this guy. He has decent pressure on camps and stuff. So, it's okay. But again, Ability Hunter, why not just go Ability Hunter? That'd be much better. Speaking of Ability Hunters, is it time? Oh, there's also Chronos here, but Chiron first. Chiron I would put, like, maybe above on her. They have the same sort of dealio, but I would say Chiron, thanks to his range, is a little bit better. On her in ADC, obviously way better, but in terms of mid lane, Chiron, really good area control, really good area denial, good, I just realized I didn't have it FLM'd. Whoops. Yeah, but on the whole, lots of area damage, whole lot of range on him as well. Once his build gets going, it's really hard to stop him, but he is stoppable. I will say he's pretty easy to gank. But I mean, if you get in situations where they can't chase your 3 or cancel your 3 at range, yeah, you can actually live pretty well. Chronos, kind of cheese like one of these guys. Yeah, it's a lot like a Chang'e where you just go for the one shot, but at least Chronos can push down towers. So I'd put him like there, maybe here. I would say that. Alright, where are we here? Cupid, no Cupid. Yeah, the Scordia fell off pretty hard. I like this god, but she's gotta get going, or else she's just gonna hit for 20 damage. She's gonna spam you, but she's gonna spam you for 20 damage. But if you got Soul Reaver online, she's a pretty good Soul Reaver spammer, so that's nice. That's a good aspect of her. And her wave clear is okay, but she's got to walk like right up to the wave. So if she gets collapsed on by the jungler and support, it's curtains. Same deal with E-Set, but I will say E-Set's pretty solid. She's like up here, just because her ultimate's insane and her CC's pretty good too. Just needs to get off the ground, not die early, and she can function. Solid utility mage. Passive is hard for teammates. Very true. Yeah, you can't deny that passive. Like it's if it's on your ADC, it's gonna win your ADC fights. If it's on your soul lane, it's gonna win your soul laner fights. Yeah. Definitely not bad at all. Same idea with E-Set, with like the shield and stuff. You can't forget about like how big E-Set shield can get, how much damage mitigation the ult brings, how much damage the ult can bring, stuff like that. But it's just like it's kind of like supermarket like stuff. Like she does a lot of little things, but like the shielding's not as good as like a Charon. The secure is nowhere near like a Kukulkan, stuff like that. Her safety's okay, but not great. You got to be in the right matchup as well. You can't pick her too early. So there you go. I'll maybe bring Camazots down then. Yeah, these two together feels right. Where am I? I wouldn't play Freya mid. She's good, but I wouldn't play mid. Hubwa? Yeah, he just doesn't do enough early. is the problem. He's such a bot for such a long period of time in the game. But if you hit late game, it's pretty good. But he doesn't really have the range that you need from a mage typically, so you can get farmed kind of hard. Helmid, it's not terrible. But I'll put her like the best of the healers. I like how I have like all the utility mages back here. But yeah, I'll put her like the best of the utility mages because her damage is ridiculous and her heals are super impactful. And she gets so much farm in the mid lane as well. She uses her farm better than like Afro does, for example. And she has better, well, I wouldn't say better. What are they called? Mid camp fights. Afro's mid camp fight is pretty good because of the kiss. But yeah, I'll put Hera next. I love Hera. But she is a little risky. But I think she's better than people think. But I wouldn't put her above Hell, though. Maybe these two could go up here. Yeah, I'll say Hera down here. Just because, like, free kill on the map, basically. But if she gets going, I mean, she is really good. She has a lot of burst. And once she gets her 3 leveled, I wish you could, like, justify leveling the 3. Because once the 3 is leveled, the character actually doesn't die very easily anymore. Because you just dunk on people with the ultimate, self-heal, and then shield. It's actually really hard to kill her. But for a lot of the game, you can't do that. So, there you go. Above Baron? Yeah, I would say above Baron. Because they actually do similar things, like whole CC on the ultimate, right? But Hera's damage is a little bit better, and her survivability, actually, I would say is a little better as well, because it's not as situational, like hitting the 2. Too many people just run at you? Yeah, they do. It's unfortunate. But you can punish them sometimes. If your jungler's there to help, if people overcommit on a Hell, they can die. Shell. E-Shell. I don't know. This is another god that just kind of dies. But I love her, and she's very fun. And she has a lot of pop-off potential. Maybe better than Hera. Maybe, like, on par with Hell, I would say is accurate. I like that. It's just because her damage gets so crazy late game. And we're in the meta with, like, Conduit Gem and Chronos Pendant together, which are really good together. So... yeah, I think with those things in mind, she's actually not too bad. The burst isn't really there though, but her ultimate's good. Her ult's good for self-heal. Breaks up a fight. Oh, Giannis. Is Giannis really our first S tier? Maybe Chiron could be S. I'll put him S. But like back of S probably. Yeah, Giannis, too much movement. Way too much movement. He's extremely hard to catch for like anybody. There's only a handful of warriors who can catch him, handful of guardians that can stop him. Obviously Ares is meta, so that's good. But, yeah, on the whole, I would still say Giannis probably one of the best just because he's so hard to catch. And, like, most mages aren't doing much damage anyways. So, if you get Gemma-focused Giannis online, he does enough damage, like, equal to what a mage would do. Another mage would do, except the cooldown's, like, half as long, and he's moving around the map, like, twice as fast. So, yeah. They're all very, Giannis, Cuckoo, Thoth? Yeah, those would be the best. All very popular, yeah. You see them, like, every single game. Yeah, Kukulkan, the same idea. Probably better than Giannis, just because Giannis can get put behind more easily. He has a few more counters, whereas Kukulkan is really hard to counter directly because there's so many slows in the game, and Kukulkan doesn't care about slows. That's a problem. And also, the range on his 1 is really hard to deal with. You have to try and like match the range of the 1, or else you're not going to be able to get to him. Or just try and cleanse the slow, because the slow is, I don't even remember what it is. It's like 30% or something crazy for such a long range slow. It does a lot of damage too, which is pain. And then even if you get him behind, he tornadoes and last hits the entire wave anyways. So it's pretty rough. And yeah, objective secure as well with the ultimate, really good. There's a lot of hard lockdown on guardians right now, and like pushes and pulls and stuff like that. That's really good for Kukulkan ultimate. So yeah, definitely guessed her. Where did I put Mama? She's good. She's probably like one of the best assassin style mid laners, but not. She doesn't control as well as Cleo does. She doesn't zone control as well, or control zone. I don't know. I think on the whole, she carries harder than Discordia can. That's for sure. So I'll probably put her there. That's fair. Her wave clear is pretty bad, though. She definitely needs help from jungle and support as early as possible. So, not perfect, but help her there. But you can definitely feel unfair a lot of the time. So who did I pick? Mama? Oh, Martikaros, another S. I would say, yeah. Honestly, Chiron and Martikaros closer than I expected in terms of damage. But Martikaros definitely pips them out. Maybe better than Giannis. It's hard to say. It depends on the matchup, really. Like, when the movement's really impactful, Giannis is better. But when you don't need as much durability, Marty Cross is broken. Because if you can't wait out the Marty ultimate, you're gone. He kills you instantly, basically, because his ult, his 2 has like 105% scaling, his 1 is like 135%, his ult is like 120, I think, or 139 or something like that, something crazy. They all proc item effects, and then his ultimate shreds protections as well. He feels pretty unfair to play against on the whole. And in the range as well, a lot like a Kukulkan, the range is too much for what's meta right now in other roles. So yeah, I would say like there. Other than like Thor and Thana, like the junglers and Susano, like the junglers who can truly dive him, then maybe, yeah. But he can actually burst them so hard that like until they're full build, they can't burst him back. Well, in the early game as well, they beat him, obviously. But hopefully you're playing under your tower if you don't know where the jungler is. Medusa's good. I like Medusa. But I would say she's like on par with On Her. They have like the same idea where it's very good like combos extremely well with other characters. But then when they're on their own, it's okay. It's not quite as good as like what Marty and Chiron can do on their own, because they clear more safely, those two gods, and they have a little bit more zone control. But Medusa ult, really great in late game, procs so many items. Her 1, great for burning down targets as well. Plays off CC extremely well. But yeah, I would say on the whole, On Her, a little bit better. But just by a little bit. Is she better than Agni, though? Maybe like by a hair. But Agni brings more utility with almost as much damage, so I would say Agni a little bit better. Let's see, Merlin. Merlin's really good. I'll put him in like the back of S tier, though, because he's pretty free kill, though, is the problem. That's the main issue with Merlin. In most situations, he is a free kill early game. But if he gets out of the early game, gets his items online, because, again, it's a Conduit Gem Chronos, like Gem of Focus type beat, type of meta. So that suits him like a glove. It's perfect for him. He loves it. So if he gets his items, he pops off. It's really hard to deal with him late game. Because then like the blink doesn't have a 50-minute cooldown anymore. So you're able to blink out of situations and actually still fight relatively well. Morgan... I'll put Morgan at the back, but I do think she's really solid. Like, there's so much this character does that's so hard to deal with. Great zone control, really decent burst, really hard to kill in late game team fights. I mean, you really can't chase down a Morgan who's ulting in the late game. Almost impossible. And like it's like a Shiva type beat where it's like you use all of your abilities and then you ult, and then all of your abilities are back up already, because you've used all that time ulting. And again, Conduit Gem, Chronos Pendant, she loves those items, perfect for her. So yeah, I think she's still S tier, although I do think there's a bit of a gap between like this and Morgan, so I'll maybe put her top of A. I would prefer her over and On Her, at least. But yeah, there are certain times. Mommy LaFay. I mean, we're talking about my putting her in the top of S tier right here. If we're talking about something else. But in terms of how good she is in game, yeah, top of A, I think is fair. Because yeah, she is able to be shut down. She's not impossible to shut down. So where am I? Neath mid. Yeah, maybe in a good matchup. I put her over Apollo or Chang'e. Yeah, above Chang'e, but like this god dies like no other. Like she's just she's the freest kill in the game but she still has a movement ability. You know what I mean? Like she how do I word this? Can someone help? She's the freest kill in the game despite the fact that she has a movement ability. Oh, I forgot about AMC. Whoops. But yeah, that's what I would sum her up as. She's just way too free of a kill to be worth it. She has to stand still to use her ultimate. Her backflip is the most telegraphed thing in the entire Omniverse. AMC, though, I would put him probably above Merlin. The zone, probably above Chiron, too. Same idea as Chiron, just lacking the range. But what he does, the same thing Chiron does with like the zone control and stuff, AMC does it like twice as well, and it's so much damage. Like, you're a tank and you get AMC ulted, you might as well have gotten like triple Nem ulted with like... some fries on the side. It's criminal how much damage he does to tanks, and his damage to squishies as well. He one shot squishies. It's like that's the thing about AMC and Martikaros. It's like they hit squishies really hard, and it's like, oh my god, that was a lot of damage. Shoot, and then you get hit by them as a tank. It's like, am I a tank? I forget. Am I? But let me check my items. I check back. I'll get back to you in a moment. Can you stop hitting me? In the meantime, like it's rough. It is rough. Such good tank shred on those gods. So where was I? Neath? Okay. Nox mid. I wouldn't really play Nox mid. I would put it down here or something. I don't think it's very good. She's a solid support. I like Nox in support. But yeah, I wouldn't play her in mid. Nuwa next. I would say she's very similar to these gods, where it's like, okay, the risk isn't worth it, but if you get going, it's actually pretty nice. Her ultimate does a quintillion billion late game, which is really helpful. And Rod of Vihudi is still solid, so you can go that as well to like guarantee finish off kills, do like 600 damage late game with an ultimate because of Rod. And then if they have like triple tank, you can go Soul Reaver as well instead and go that. And then again, Conduit Gem, Chronos Pendant. Perfect. Nuad loves those items, especially Conduit Gem to help get her clear off the start line. What the hell am I saying? Get her clear off the ground a little bit. Yeah, on the whole, love it. But she is very killable. It depends how hard they can dive you after you've ulted, because in some matchups you can ult and then that's it. If you ult at the right time, they actually can't chase you anymore sometimes. But not every time, so I'll put her there. Newt, I think, will probably be S tier. I'll put her at the back of S tier. She clears the wave instantly, absolutely instantly. She can solo any mage in the game. She struggles with the area damage, though. That's the problem. She doesn't have the area damage that these hunters have. She can't pace down Honey. She can't poke with the 1. And then 2 right after. She can't pace down a Martikaros 1 either. You know, her AoE is so whatever that I think she's here, but the damage is absurd. Her damage is absurd right now, and it's tracking. I mean, if you see every other enemy god on the map, you can 1v1 any mid in the game, in my opinion, on this god. I think you can. Well, Giannis is probably going to ult away, but other than that, I mean, really nasty. But also, well, Marty might be hard. And AMC could probably all in you. Okay, maybe not any of them. Maybe there. That looks better to me. I need more experience on the god, but I'm not really interested in playing casuals at the moment. Perseph is kind of like, why bother? But she's not terrible. She does a lot of damage. Her zone control is really good in a one-on-one. But the funny thing is, with a character with 4 AoE abilities and an AoE passive, she actually is worse in teamfights than she is in 1v1. Which is hilarious to me, because the Vine on her ultimate dies quicker. Her 1 is body blockable. Her plants are terrible. So this god just has like a lot of weird flaws with her kit that kind of make her struggle. But probably better than Chalk, probably better than Kama, but brings a little less utility than Afro, Eset, Baron. And then Hera to me is just better Persephone. I know Persephone has a leap, but I feel like Hera does everything you want Persephone to do, except it hits harder, it's easier to hit, and it hits everybody. It's not body blockable or anything. And Argus doesn't die to 5 basic attacks. Well, maybe late game. Actually, no, I think Argus is a little tankier than that. So yeah, Argus is tankier than Divine, so therefore, Hera's better. I like Persephone though, I do like the god, but don't think she's great. I was considering Pele. I played Pele a little bit. It is a little cheese. I think she's pretty good though. Just because the dive is so absolutely ridiculous on this god. And her clear is good too. And rotations are great as well. She's a very fast rotator. Can like, if you're against a Giannis as Pele, not a great matchup, but you are able actually to chase a Giannis pretty well through the jungle and try and match her rotation. So there's that. That's a big positive. Oh yeah, Izanami. I tried Izanami for a little while. I don't think it's very good. So where is I? Pele, P, Poseidon. This god, Kraken's always going to be good. Kraken's always useful. So I'd say he's probably better than Hera. Kind of similar to Pele in a lot of ways, actually. But I mean, like, people say the god's dead. I don't think he's dead, really. It's just what he does isn't that effective right now because the power is so low. But once you get to late game with Gemma Focus, it's impossible to kill the guy. And his laning phase is actually decent because Whirlpool clears so early thanks to Conduit Gem as well. Or if you gotta go safe, you can use the 1 with Conduit Gem. That's extremely safe too. If he goes unchecked in fights, his 2 is still absurd. I think there's a lot of good things about the character. Just the Kraken doesn't hit like it used to. That would be my main issue with the god. But if you're able to peel for him, I think he's fine. Oh, did I skip Ra? Wait, what's the alphabet? Was Ra next, actually? Ra's hard to judge. I would say he's better than like Hell and Nuwa, stuff like that. Better than Discordia, better than Mama. Yeah, maybe here is good. It's just like you hit the snipe, good. Ra's good. You miss the snipe, oh, this guy's worthless. He gets dogpiled pretty easy. He's like a budget Kukulkan, essentially. That's how I feel about him. Because his ability to survive is actually not terrible, but it's not as good as Kukulkan. The area damage is not as good as Kukulkan. The range, it's there, but it's much harder to hit than Kukulkan's. I mean, yeah. It's hard to justify playing him. So Raijin, I don't really see a point in playing Raijin. But overall, I think he's okay. I'd maybe put him like, yeah, probably a little below Persephone. There's kind of no reason, but you can pop off with him. He's a very good pop-off mage. Like, if you get going, if you get ahead, you can actually just, like, leap on people for free and just kill them. It can get pretty absurd how strong he is from ahead, but when he's behind, actually such a bot. Such a bot. And a lot of good junglers, a lot of strong junglers, one-shot him. And then they can just blink on him, and he's like, oh, I gotta dash out. And then you can't even peel hard enough for yourself with the ultimate to try and get most junglers off you. It's pretty bad. In my experience, anyways. He's been way too easy to dive. And, like, other mages can be dove, obviously, but they usually have some sort of CC that they can rely on to, like, okay, I can apply that and I can run away. With Raijin, he's standing there trying to, like, bang his drum, like, oh my god, good, this is going off of me, but you're moving slower. So it doesn't really matter. You know, it's not that effective against a jungler who has speed buff on, you know? Not nearly as effective. Scylla's pretty good, though. Her burst is really disgusting. She's definitely better than, like, a Nuwa. Does, like, what Nuwa wants to do better. I'll put her probably, like, the back of A. Because she does not have a very good early game at all. But if she gets off the ground, it's pretty good. But Agni has a lot more utility, even though it's less damage. So I would say, like, Agni does what Scylla does a little bit better on the whole. But Scylla's still a lot of fun. Scylla's probably more fun than Agni. Agni's a bit of a bot, not gonna lie. I played a little bit of Set earlier this season. It was okay. Like, it wasn't anything great. Probably better than Kama. I don't know, better than Raijin. Well, they sort of have the same thing going on. Like, if you pop off with the god, like, it's kind of scary. So, probably better than these guys. Like, there. The one-shot potential is there for sure, but the getting farmed potential is also there. And potatoing out. Like, if you just get behind your mid laner, you don't get your mid camps, you don't split enough camps with your jungler, you can just potato out and not do anything until hyper late game when you get all of your items that you need. Soul, I probably wouldn't play Soul mid. Like, it's probably not even awful. It's probably just, like, there. Susano is not terrible, but you might as well just play him jungle if he's open. I'll put him, like, he's probably better than... I would say Pele's a little bit better. I would say Susano, like the pop-off with Susano and Set is pretty similar. But Set's a little more counterable, so I'd put him, like, maybe there. That sounds good to me. Like, he's another one, like a Camazotz, where it's like, well, if it's a one-on-one, any mid laner, you can't fight him. So, there you go. Any other mid laner, I should say, like any mage or anything like that. Hunters can actually fight him, though. That is a bit of a problem for him. No Olorun? That god's so dead. That god is awful. But I think I would only play him in ADC. I'll put him, like, down there. Morgan's always pretty good. I don't think she's that great right now, but I mean, if you get a good Morgan going, it's not that bad. Put her, like, here, maybe. Maybe, like, probably better than ESAT, yeah. Probably better, a little bit better than Baron. Yeah, like the assassins where it's like it's actually a bit more of a coin flip. I'll put them, like, here, because, like, you can't always clear with Susano. You can't always pop off the Set, but you can always clear and get good chase with Pele. And then, like, Morgan's the same idea where you can get farmed pretty hard by certain junglers. And if you're against, like, a hunter, if you're against a hunter mid who has Bluestone, I mean, your character is useless. You're never going to be able to get away from people. So it's a little rough. Tsukiyomi mid. Oh, Thoth. Yeah, Thoth. S tier. Yeah, I would say like, oh, it's tough. It's very matchup dependent here, like choosing between these guys. Probably there. I would say that looks good to me. He does die very easily, but if he goes unchecked in a fight, it's ridiculous what this god can do. If he gets like 3 rotations of his 1 out, it's hilarious, man. He's done like 5k damage in a single fight if he does that. Criminal how much damage he does. The ultimate, I mean, it's an ultimate, right? It's pretty predictable. You can play around it. I don't think that's the OP part about him. I think the OP part is his cooldown on his 1 is ridiculous for how much damage it does late game. But you got to make sure to get there. So I don't think he's like perfect or anything. And Giannis as well can get shot down. So maybe I'll put him a little bit above Giannis. Giannis is just more annoying to deal with because like you can have a straight up game plan to try to deal with Thoth. With Giannis, it's like either you pick the right stuff to counter Giannis and you're just done. So that does make him a little bit better in that regard, a little bit safer too. But yeah, he just Thoth's potential is so much higher. That's actually kind of difficult. Yeah, I'd say Giannis probably a little bit better. Just because like Giannis ult a little bit better than Thoth ult probably late game. Giannis like 2-2-3. Yeah, it's almost as good as Thoth 3-1, but not quite as good. But like his survivability is just off the charts early game. Like it's so hard to get behind as Giannis. It's easy to get ahead as Giannis too. It's easy to get ahead as Thoth as well. But you know what I mean. Tiamat's pretty good. I'd put her maybe above Scylla. Like the utility's great, but the damage isn't quite there. It's odd. You need to make sure you have damage elsewhere, like hard damage, like Mercury or something in the jungle, like Susanna in the jungle, and like a damaging soul laner as well. You need to make sure you have damage elsewhere, or else this character is not going to bring what you need. But on the whole, the utility is ridiculous on this god. But she does also take a long time to use all of her abilities. It's not like a solo where you just burst him instantly. It's a whole different set of strengths on this god, really. And her 1 sucks in certain matchups. You know, yeah, I'll put her below Scylla. Yeah, I wouldn't put her below Cleo, really. Realistically. Honestly, TBH. Alright, let's see. Tsukiyomi. Suk's good. Yeah, I would say he's like on par with Pele. Maybe better than Poseidon. Because he actually does a very similar thing to Poseidon, where it's just like, I'm going to be extremely mobile and do a million damage from way back here, and then all of a sudden I'm going to be in your face doing 2k damage, like instantly. It's rough. It's rough out here. Because, and another thing, it's like Pele, where it's like, if he gets you in a 1v1, if you're a mage, you're so dead. There's nothing you can do, because he will bait out, he will do half your health, bait out your movement ability, and do the rest of your health with his ultimate if he has trans online. So, it's really hard to deal with. But he is gankable for sure. But you know, if his team is playing through him, it's actually pretty hard to deal with him. As for Volcano, maybe Uller mid's not that bad, but there's better Hunter mids for sure. But there's a lot of pop-off potential here, so I'd put him maybe there. They're actually pretty similar to Amal, I would say, in that regard, where it's like, yeah, not the best of what you're looking for from like an assassin mid. And like not as good as what you're looking for with a hunter mid, but he uses brooch well. He can stack trans very well. Just unsafe compared to these other gods who like they can CC you so hard you can't get to them, or they just straight up can like immune stuff, you know. But overall, I would say he's probably pretty good. I haven't played him personally, so maybe that's not proper brain thinkerness. Vulcan, I don't see the point of Vulcan right now. It's so easy to kill. Probably like maybe here, like better than Hera probably. Yeah, better than these guys. Maybe Morgan can move up like there. That sounds good to me. And maybe Susano can stay there. He's probably better than Susano. I really don't see a point other than the ultimate late game. That's the main thing I see with him. Otherwise, just make sure you don't group up against Vulcan, and you can dive him very easily on cooldown, basically. It's nice that he has a good matchup into Ares. You know, change doesn't matter as much against him. But, people just misplay versus turret. Yeah, people literally just kill themselves for turret, and then call Vulcan a good god. It's, yeah. Yu Huang, he's just boring. I don't even want to talk about this god. I don't know. Like, there... His wave pressure is whatever. I mean, his ultimate late game, it is actually an absurd ultimate late game. It is very good if you know how to use it. I don't. I certainly don't. But a good Yu Huang, I mean, you get a good ultimate late game. It's better than a Kraken, better than like a solo ultimate. It's ridiculous how strong it can be. But I don't really see the point of this god. I don't really see the point. Like, why would you ever pick him? But considering what his strengths are, I don't know. It's not as good as Raijin, though, with like the pop-off. But I think he's less cheesy than like a Chaka or a Kama. He has fundamentals. Yu Huang does have fundamentals in his kit, you know? Whereas these are more just like, I'm just going to W key you and hope it works. And it probably does, that's why they're on here. Zeusy Woosy. Really hard to justify playing this god right now. Yeah, he's probably like an Anubis. Yeah, I'll probably move Nox down a little bit here. Yeah, that feels better to me. Yu Huang is cuckoo at home, but takes more skill. Yeah, right? Exactly. It's just like, why would I ever play that? Shoot. What was I on? Zeus. Yeah, just like the wave pressure is so bad. They said they're reworking him in Smite 2. I agree. He needs something to clear the wave with, while also being effective in team fights. It's a hard thing to try and balance around. But anyways, we're dealing with Zeus here. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. If he gets a lead, it's nice, but it's not as nice if, like, Anubis gets a lead. But I move Hebo down. I mean, Hebo's Carpet is still good. Carpet's really great utility. Water Spout's good. Just his 1 is really bad right now, I would say, after the nerf. Zhang Kuei. Yeah. I mean, he's not even bad. Like, the prot thing is pretty well. Hades mid, actually, I'll put here as well. Better fundamentals than these guys? I don't know. Maybe I can move Chalk above Kama. That actually sounds right to me. I don't know why. Hades isn't awful. He's like on par with these guys here. Probably better than Set. A little less risky than Set. Well, he has his own set of risks. But alright. Let me go over the list one more time. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. God, that was a lot of characters. Oh, Baba. I always forget about this god. She's good though. I don't know if she's A material. She's probably in B. Above Ra, I would say. She's got decent safety. That, I mean, if the house, it's very matchup dependent. Like, if the house is a good call against that team, she's ridiculous. Because house, her ultimate is what I'm talking about. If she gets in her house and she's not able to just be like blown up or something, like or walled off or something along those lines, it's ridiculous how good she is in the house. So much burst damage attached to that god, and so much survivability as well. Loki mid. Yeah, he wouldn't. He's not bad. He's pretty good. He's like I don't know if I'd put him over Pele. No, they do kind of do the same thing, right? Yeah, and maybe Loki's better late game, so I'd put him like there. That's fair. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. Oh, Charon, yeah. Oh, whoops. Yeah, Charon, probably the back of S tier. He is. You could shut him down, definitely. Really hard to shut him down, though. Extremely good in 1v1s, to the point that's really unfair. And, like, his rotations are disgusting, too. His ultimate does, like, 1,000 damage if you build him full damage. Doesn't feel fair. This guy does not feel fair right now if people don't full damage. And even, like, halfway damage is still solid, but I will go full damage in mid. And in that regard, yeah, I would put him, like, there. Really, just unfun. Just pure unfun. Alright, what was that, Charon? Why is he ranged, man? Why does he have ranged basics? Why? Ishtar's not terrible mid. I don't know. I'd put her maybe there. Yeah, that seems okay. Well, maybe there. Above Hades. Actually, Hades I'll put like on the bottom of this list, or like better than Zhong. Like on par with Yu Huang bars. Yeah, like that. That looks better. Erlong's okay. Put him like here. Maybe better than Chalk. Maybe Chalk's a little bit better. But Erlong does a very similar thing, and in certain matchups he's way better at controlling lanes than Chalk. It just depends on the matchup, really. Then who else? There was someone who was close by that I considered. Oh, I think I lost the pot on that one. I forget who else. Scotty mid. Put it maybe above Valo. All right. I would say, I mean, I might change a few things here and there. You know, some minor changes, but on the whole, that is my list for the mid lane in Smite at the moment in 11.2. What would you change about it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and thank you for watching.